Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic / Non-Classic. This is episode number 668 and Doubleshot number 572. Like I said last episode, two trades that kind of basically the last ones released for these particular volumes, or at least these series. So, let's start off. First off with the last trade that collects the New 52 era of the Teen Titans from 2011 to 2016. That is Teen Titans Volume 3, The Sum of Its Parts. Collecting issues 14 to 19 of Teen Titans Volume 5. Written by at least 3 different writers. Will Pfeiffer, Scott Lobdell, and Greg Pak. For pretty much most of these issues, I would say the first 4 issues deal with the outcome. I would say except for one. The first issue deals with the aftermath of the stupid story arc that was dealing with Superboy. Yeah, that was completely pointless. I mean, you bring the character back, and then you get rid of him really quickly. It's kind of like Will Pfeiffer really had no plans for him. And the storyline was rushed. Really, really rushed. Which, that was the biggest weakness of that storyline. And then, of course, the following issue just rushed that conclusion as well. Rushed the aftermath. And issue 15 was a tie-in to, of all things, Robin War, which was a pretty good tie-in. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was a terrible tie-in. Though it had the Teen Titans take on Professor Pig, of all people, who, at this point, I think this was his first appearance as Batman Eternal. Not kidding, that was actually his last time he showed up. And then they had, of course, they also had an issue where they surrendered after the events of Robin War. This happened in issue 16, which kind of in a way wrapped up that particular run. And they even brought in the character Doomsday from the Doomsday series, who is a guy who turns into a Hulk-like being. Oh, and by the way, after these 2 issues and after a series ended, this character is never seen again. Oh, and by the way, who wrote the Doomsday series? Scott Lobdell. Not kidding. How did this guy get his power? It's really weird. Okay, apparently some of the elements that happened in the events of Doomed ended up, some of the spore stuff got into this guy, and he transforms into a version of Doomsday, becomes this red-looking creature, and he breaks into the Teen Titans. Also, the Durland they added to the team, back during the previous arc, she gets taken by her own people back to space. And as far as I know, this character is never seen again. Yeah, because apparently, well, Will Pfeiffer was leaving the books, so take out characters people kind of thought were interesting. Also, Wonder Girl is back on the roster for some reason. Oh, what happened to Elite? Never explained. They completely disappeared. Kid Flash disappears, goes back to the future because he left his girlfriend in the future. This, of course, is Bar-Tor, not Bard Allen. Yeah, it's kind of like, when you finish reading issue 16, kind of like, okay, you have 3 people who lead the team, and as far as I know, Bar-Tor did show up again recently in the Flash Speed Buggy one-shot, which was really good, by the way. In the case of the Durland girl, she disappeared, never seen again. Doom, yeah, and they was just going to Metropolis, or because they couldn't stay in Gotham because the whole stuff with Robin, because they were doing the aftermath of that. Excuse me. And then he was just a Metropolis, and he was like, no, I don't want to go there because I'm wanted there. And I'm thinking, why not New York? They can go back to New York, they had no problem being there. But they couldn't go back there, so let's go to this no-name town in Pennsylvania for the last few issues of this run. Not kidding, that's basically what they did. And they basically lived out of an apartment. They barely had a base operations of this run, which is really one of my biggest problems with this run. To conclude this particular trade, we have a 3-parter featuring the second origin story of Wonder Girl, where this I thought was really interesting. By far, and this is done by Greg Pak, not by Will Pfeiffer. Will Pfeiffer really left after issue 16. These last 3 issues are done by Greg Pak, and the artwork is done by Ian Churchill. Ian Churchill, not very popular artist with a lot of people, but I think his artwork's actually pretty good. Now here are the artists here. Aside from Ian Churchill, you have Scott McDaniel, No Rodriguez, Miguel Ricias, Tom Dornick, and Alvaro Martinez. I should point out though, like, what happened to a lot of these characters? Like, what happened to Power Girl? Well, she popped up in the Deathstroke series, and as far as I know, that's her last known appearance period in that as a supporting character. As for Raven, she actually stopped using this awful look that apparently someone in DC thought this was a good idea, giving her this piece of crap of a look. Yeah, a look that she had for roughly about, 5 years. Actually, it was more like 4 years she had this look. Because it can be her first appearance in Phantom Strange #0. Yeah. Bunker, after this flying wrapped up, as far as I know, he completely disappeared and has not been seen in 2 years. Despite the fact a lot of people did like the character. I like him too. Oh yeah, and Beast Boy, yeah, he's still on the team. Also, Bunker is not the only person who's not done anything in the last couple years. Cassandra Sandmark has done virtually nothing. Yeah, they revealed that she's actually Wonder Woman's niece. Nice idea. I mean, they took away the fact that her father was Zeus. They changed it where it's this other guy, Lennox, who's actually from the Brian Azzarello run of Wonder Woman. Yeah, they mentioned that he was killed off during that run. And the character Cassandra, and they referenced the Brian Azzarello run in here, which I thought that was bizarre. Yeah, Greg Pak mentioning someone else's run. Not kidding about that. Yeah, mentioning Firstborn, a character which I don't think anybody wants to do anything with that character again. And I love one thing I really want to see is if the current writer of Wonder Woman can do this, having Cassie show up in the book and have her meet one of our newest uncles, Jason, who is Wonder Woman's twin brother. I hope that happens. Yeah. But when it came to his issues in here, the first issue was dumb. Didn't really care for it. Second issue I thought was okay. The third issue really was... It really kind of ticked me off how characters just abruptly disappeared because the writer left the book. The best issues in here are the new Wonder Girl origin issue, which they actually mentioned her demon armor thing. Yeah, her first origin story just dealt with the origin story of her armor. This one basically deals with her god backstory, which really nice. I like that. I give this book a 9 out of 10. The only reason why I don't give it 9.5 is because the first 3 issues are really bad. That's just that. Next up, it is... Now, I reviewed the second one of this one already. This one, I did not review the first one for because I did have the book. I really want to review this one for quite some time. But now I get a chance to. Batman Earth 1 Volume 1. Written by Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. Who, by the way, are doing Doomsday Clock right now, which is about 6 issues in right now. And it's a fantastic comic book. This is really good as well. Now, on Earth 1 is basically these one-shot graphic novels that are not set in DC universe. Basically, how these Earths work. This is explained in Grant Morrison's Multiversity. The main DC Earth is called Prime Earth. That's what it's called, or Earth 0. Then it's Earth 1 this. Earth 2 is the Earth 2 series. And, of course, Earth 3, which is no longer existing, and, of course, is the other Earths. Now, they do make changes back. Now, since this is technically a fresh continuity. Oh, those of you curious, what does the Bat costume look like in this continuity? It is one of the most oddest designs I have ever seen for a Bat costume. Here's what it looks like. Yeah, it's not looking custom, but you can definitely say, yes, this is a Bat costume. Yeah, and I got handed to Gary Frank. It made it look really good. I thought it was really weird, the fact you can see his actual eyes, because when you normally see Batman in a comic book, his eyes usually whited out. But my guess is they want to go for a realistic look. Now, there is changes they made to the Batman mythos with this particular thing. Like, for one thing, Alfred, they do keep the fact that he was in the Royal Military, which I'm very happy they kept that. But he didn't start initially as the butler of the Wayne family. He was brought in as security while Thomas Wayne was running for mayor. Oh yeah, and they revealed the fact that apparently it wasn't some random muggy like it normally has been depicted as. Apparently it was a conspiracy to it was an assassination just so that another person elected mayor. Those who are curious who, it is in fact the Penguin. Yep. Oh yeah, and they made him and another character who known for being overweight. They made him really thin. Like, oh yeah, and Batman says later on when he confronts him, like, you got fat and rich over the years. Like, I'm looking like, really? You call him fat? He's really thin. You can never say he's a penguin. Oh yeah, another character who's known for being overweight over the years is Harry Bullock. Let me show you what Harry Bullock looks like in here. This is Harry Bullock. I was thinking, yeah, that's Harry Bullock? Where's his big belly he's known for having? Well, this is what Gary Frank did to him. Made him thin. Oh yeah, and they had him where he was on TV called Hollywood Detectives. Yeah, those ever seen some Showtime where he had like cameras following him, like kind of like what they do in Cops? Yeah, that's what they do with him. Apparently he's from California, and he did an episode shot in Gotham. And he doesn't like how things are run in Gotham. He kind of is written, the way he's written here, he's kind of written how Jim Gordon was written back during Earth 1. Not Earth 1, during the Year 1 story. And Jim Gordon is kind of written to be like, well, a bit different. Well, apparently, he's not on the take per se, but apparently there are certain criminals who actually are criminals who do terrible things, and yeah, apparently they're immune from being arrested, which really stupid. Yeah, and then later on, the guy who they had to let go because that was the rules of Gotham, because they took down the mayor. Yeah, the mayor who was Cobblepot, they take him down here. Yeah, how he's taken down? He is murdered by Alfred Pennyworth with a shotgun. Not kidding. That's how they kill off the Penguin. Also, then in here they set up the villain of Volume 2, which I thought was really nice of them to do for this particular run, for this particular book. This is by far a really good story. And you know how long ago this came out? 8 years ago. Yeah, and it's still really good after 8 years. Yeah, I think the second volume came out just a few years ago. And I heard a rumor that Jeff Johns is working on Volume 3 with Gary Frank, but I think they put it on hold because of Doomsday Clock. Yeah. Though the only reason why they made this one after they did Superman. Superman had released 3 volumes of that one. And I think that maybe Bendis is taking elements of that and integrating it into this continuity, like taking ideas from Superman Earth 1, integrated continuity where apparently was this alien who destroyed Krypton, not by natural disaster. This, meanwhile, it's a great retelling of that mythos, great standalone Elseworld story. I highly recommend it to basically Batman fans. When this thing ends with Harry Bullock, he becomes an alcoholic. Yep, just like how he is in the mainstream universe. Which, okay, that's a nice little development for him. I should appreciate that. This is probably by far one of Jeff Johns' best works he's ever done his whole career. I give this book a 10 out of 10. It's really good. Surprisingly, even though it's a recent book, it's really good. Alright, so that is it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is going to be episode number 669 and Doubleshot number 573. Okay? But to see you there. Bye.